Welcome to the Skol State of Mind podcast. I'm your host, D Woods, and we keeping it moving. All right. In this video, we're going to talk about the realistic possibilities of the Minnesota Vikings making a trade on a trade deadline to improve this team. Mind you, I said realistic possibilities. We ain't talking about no pipe dream type shit. Realistic possibilities. And I'm going to break it down between four key positions I think the Minnesota Vikings should explore during this offseason. One position just came up right now. You probably already know what position that is, but let's dive into it. Defensive tackle. Now, I'm going to start with this position first, but me personally, I don't think the Vikings necessarily need a trade for a defensive tackle. Now, my reasoning for this is because I feel like our current DTs have been solid. And I know people out there have been saying, like, oh, we need somebody to kind of like have, the pressure, in the middle and to help stuff to run and this and that. Like, I understand that. But I think, like, defensive tackle, you can probably address that in the draft if you don't trade, right? You can try to address that in the draft, or you can try to address that in free agency. I think there's more glaring needs on the defense outside of defensive tackle, because I think a defensive tackle is like it's a unit, right? It's a unit, and you play as a unit. But like cornerback, to me, is more of a pressing issue than defensive tackle. I mean, but if the Vikings were to trade for a defensive tackle, and this is how I'm thinking about the trades, right? I feel they have to trade for a player that's going to enter, that's already in their last year of their contract. So basically, they can trade for a player entering the last year of their contract, and they can probably re-sign them this season and have them extend them out to be, a pillar for seasons to come. You get what I'm saying? Like, they can't trade whatever they're trading because they really don't have a lot of assets. They can't trade future draft picks, whatever they can trade for 1 year rentals, right? It has to be a player that's going to be here for the foreseeable future, right? So if you look at over the cap and you selected, and one of the guys that come up is DJ Jones from the Denver Broncos, right? I mean, the Denver Broncos have been winning games. They're technically still in it, like everyone is right now. I don't necessarily know if they would be open to trading their starting defensive tackle for whatever reasons, and that is, Sean Payton. He hates us. We hate him. Fuck him. Basically, I don't know if they will be wanting to deal with us to help us out. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if that's going to work, even though, their GM is basically our ex assistant GM, right? So maybe we can work some things out with him and not have to go through Sean Payton if that's a possibility. I just don't really see the Dexter Lawrence's, the homeboy from Tennessee. I don't necessarily see those things happening because those guys have already signed major contracts with their respective teams, and I don't see those teams actually giving up on those players because that guaranteed money that they signed for those contracts was technically stayed with those teams. You get what I'm saying? So why would I sign for a player a year ago with this guaranteed money, then trade him away? I still gotta pay that guaranteed money. Like, why would I why would I do that? It just makes no sense. So, and there's BJ Hill, these other guys, but like no one really moves the needle, per se, like for a defensive tackle. So let's talk about linebacker. Now, linebacker, inside linebacker. Mind you, I said inside linebacker. All right. I'm not talking about outside linebackers, edge rushers. I'm talking about inside linebackers, coverage linebackers, smart linebackers, Mike linebackers. Mike linebackers that are going to be able to call a defense. Because I think right now we're seeing the past 2 games of we only have one true linebacker, and that's Blake Cashman. Everyone else is either a pass rushing linebacker or they are a quote unquote hybrid type player. Josh Metellus cannot play inside linebacker. Ivan Pace cannot play inside linebacker. And I feel you're going to need in the foreseeable future another inside linebacker that has the similar skill set of a Blake Cashman. Therefore, your middle of the field won't be open as much. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Like, that's how I'm thinking. If you have 2 guys of the same skill set of Blake Cashman in the middle playing linebacker, right? Middle of the field might not be as open as much. I'm just saying that. And guys that are on the market right now, for not on the market, but you get what I'm saying. For like, inside linebackers, Levante David is one of them. Like on his last year. I I will be open to bringing him in to play come play the inside. Like, come do it. Help us out. Like, inside linebacker is a really big need for me. Now, moving on from inside linebacker, cornerback. All right. This is the biggest position of need on this team. Let me say that again. This is the biggest position of need on this team. I don't care what nobody say. It ain't defensive tackle. It ain't linebacker. It ain't left tackle. We need a true man-to-man cornerback. Okay? Byron Murphy can't do it. Stephon Gilmore, over the hill. Shaq Griffin, over the hill. Now, these guys are good in zone coverage. You can hide them certain times in zone coverage. If that pass rush is getting home, they can do things. They can get interceptions. They can, they might make a play here and there. But when you run across these offensive coordinators like your Sean McVays, you run across these young up and coming wide receivers like your Puka Nakuas, they're gonna find a way to get the one-on-ones. They can't. Our corners can't win one-on-ones, man. They can't. Like, I'm I'm just gonna be honest with you. And the guy I want the most. This is the guy I want the most. DJ Reed. That's who I want because he locked us up. When we had that London game against them New York Jets, he locked us up. He had a hell of a game against us. I mean, the Jets just lost again. I mean, they basically out the playoffs. And he's in his last year of his contract. He might be a little bit old, but he can still play. Bring him in the building, Quasi. Do what you gotta do, Quasi. Bring him in the building because I feel like this. If you can bring a cornerback of that caliber, and I'm not saying he's Sauce Gardner. I'm not saying he's Ty Law from back in the day. I ain't saying he's Darrell Weavis, but I'm saying he's able to play one-on-one. You're able to say, DJ, take that guy, do your thing. Not scheming, not trying to put him in zone or trying to do all these crazy things. Take that guy, handle your business, and we got the rest. When you're able to do that, I hope Brian Flores is able to tweak and do other things with the other people on the defense. That's going to help us out. Hey, when they want to try to move people around and do one-on-ones and isolate whatever, DJ, go get that guy. Go follow the best guy on the opposite side of the ball. That's what we need. That's what we don't have. The pass rush not getting it home. Okay, cool. Take care of that. That's where I'm at with that. With the corner situation. Now, let's keep it moving. Left tackle. Now, with Darisaw being out for the season, it ain't like he's not ever going to come back. but I don't know how they're going to patch that position up and go forward. I really don't know. I mean, it's going to, I don't know. Maybe they're going to do something in free agency, elevate somebody from the practice squad. I really don't know. But if they decide to trade for somebody, bringing them in as a starter or a backup, a real backup, I see them doing that. But it's just hard because it's Darius all you're replacing. It's hard to replace a player of that caliber, but I can see them trying to do something like that after the Colts game. Like I think if things don't go too well after this Colts game, I can see them tweaking and saying, "Hey, this is the priority. We need to do this. We need to do this, and do that." And I can see them going different ways and saying, like, "Hey, maybe we shouldn't do this. Maybe we shouldn't do that." And it brings me up to this situation. If all else fails, maybe they should become sellers. I don't think they have a lot to sell, but maybe they're going to become sellers at the trade deadline. I mean, what you going to get for aging cornerbacks? Like, they can go to a team and that's already has better cornerbacks and be just for depth or whatever. But what are you gonna get? We're not trading Jordan Addison. That's a fucking pipe dream. Like it's you're basically really gonna stay pat. You being seller at the trade deadline really doesn't make any sense whatsoever because you really don't have nothing of value to sell. You either are going to be a buyer or you're staying pat. That's just my opinion. So I'm gonna end it like that, and that's my series of videos of me catching up because I'm telling you that Thursday night game kind of took a lot out of me of just catching up and going to work and having to do this and having to do that. So now I'm caught up, and I'm gonna be dropping my next video. I'm probably gonna drop after I drop the rest of these 5 videos. Was probably going to be the preview to the Vikings Coast game. Y'all know that's going to be a Sunday night game, so I'm probably going to drop that video probably on like Wednesday, or Thursday basically, so I can sit a little bit. But tune into all the rest of the videos I drop. Look at them. Be in the comments. Let me know what you think. I do respond in the comments. I'll let y'all know, how I feel. You say something back. I mean, you want to come on the show? Hit me up. You know how I end it. Skol, baby.